Hi, kids. Okay, number 29, greatest films of all time. North by Northwest, 1959. This is the second film on this list, directed by Alfred Hitchcock, starring Cary Grant, Eva Marie Saint. This is her second time appearing on the list. She was previously in On the Waterfront, and James Mason. So, a lot of the production crew on this film are crew that Hitchcock had worked with before and would work with again, including cinematographer Robert Burke, also worked on Strangers on the Train, Dial M for Murder, Rear Window. I think he worked with Hitch 8 times. It's edited by George Tomasi, very influential film editor. He would work with Hitchcock 9 times, including Rear Window, Vertigo, and Psycho. Very influential edit on Psycho. Music by Bernard Herrmann. He would work with Hitch 7 times. Vertigo, Psycho, The Birds, and then the titles for this film are done by Saul Bass, who also would go on to do the titles for Psycho. A lot of these people also would later go on to work with Scorsese. So obviously Scorsese, a fan. So the basis for this film, the initial idea, or one of the initial ideas, was you look at interviews with Hitchcock, and he talks about story and where he gets his ideas. He'll say that all you really need is a sentence, an idea, and you can go from there and build around it. So the idea that he had for this film was the man in Lincoln's nose. He referred to it as it was Jimmy Stewart hiding in Mount Rushmore in Lincoln's nose, sneezing to give away his whereabouts. So that was just the idea, the genesis of the start of this film. So this is 1959. 1958 was the release of Vertigo. Vertigo, Hitchcock made with Paramount Pictures. Vertigo, now considered one of the greatest films of all time, huge success. The time it came out, though, in 58, it was kind of not a success. So Hitchcock is allowed to leave, and he goes to MGM. They want him to adapt The Wreck of the Mary Deer. So he starts working on that. Bernard Herrmann recommends a writer by the name of Ernest Lehman. So Hitchcock and Lehman team up to adapt The Wreck of the Mary Deer, and not really working. So Lehman is a little upset because he really wanted to work with Hitchcock. Some of his credits prior to this include Sabrina with Billy Wilder and The King and I. And Hitchcock says, you know what? Don't worry about it. We get along fine. Let's just find something else to work on. So they brainstorm and they just come up with a bunch of ideas. So The Man in Lincoln's Nose is one of the things that they come up with. Bunch of different ideas just for scenes that get thrown in there. Some of them don't get used. I know Hitch had an idea for a scene for a long time that he wanted to adapt that he never got to, taking place in Detroit, a car being assembled on the assembly line, slowly getting put together, the doors, the trunk, everything comes together, the hood, and somebody walking through as the car is being put together, showing people, explaining, gets to the end of the assembly line, and then open up the trunk to show the trunk space, and there's a dead body in there. That was his idea. He just couldn't work anything else out from that. So Hitch had a bunch of ideas for scenes like that. So they just brainstormed, kind of put them all together. Lehman wanted to make the ultimate Hitchcock film. So he just wanted all these scenes, set pieces, trying to find a story to connect it. So they connect it, The Man in Lincoln's Nose, and then they also connect it with an idea of something else Hitchcock wanted to adapt. That was Operation Mincemeat. So Operation Mincemeat, I believe, was a British operation where they took the body of, I believe, a homeless man. They dressed it up with a military uniform, put fake military documents in it, and allowed the other side to obtain it and think that they had stumbled on a bunch of military secrets, but it was misinformation. So that was Operation Mincemeat. Hitchcock was intrigued by that idea. He was intrigued by the idea of a civilian being mistaken for a spy, or government pretending a civilian is a spy. The genesis of North by Northwest. By the way, Lehman would go on to work on things like The Sound of Music, Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, Hello Dolly. Worked with Hitch again for Family Plot. So, yeah, and then Hitchcock insisted on MGM filming this in Paramount's VistaVision. So this is one of only 2 MGM produced films that uses Paramount VistaVision. And following this film, Hitch would go back to Paramount and make Psycho. Right? 3-film run, right? Vertigo, North by Northwest, Psycho. Maybe we'll get to these other 2 films. So, this film is number 29 on this list. Let's start with Metacritic. According to critics, it has a score of 98 out of 100 on Metacritic, which puts it at the 25th best film of all time on that list. British Film Institute 2012 poll is number 53 on the critics list, not on the director's list. 2022, last year, it's number 45 on the critics list, not on the top 100 on the director's list. American Film Institute, greatest American films list in 1998, it was number 40. 2007, same list, it was number 55. And on IMDb, according to your reviews, just makes the top 100. It's number 99. So, all those things put it at number 29 on this list. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe.